Hey, bookish baddies. Welcome to Black Girls Lit.
Where fine women, fine literature, and fine libations collide.
Step into the lit life. Black Girls Lit starts now.
Black women are so complex.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Black Girls Lit. My name is Nicole.
I'm Tasha.
I'm Lex.
I'm Star.
And we have a special guest today, Stephanie. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, ladies.
Oh, okay, you guys, we have big things happening in August. We're actually doing a whole special. We are diving deep into the Legacy of Orïsha series. We're going to actually be dropping 3 episodes, one tackling each of the books in the series. We're going to drop each episode every other week in August. So you're going to be hearing a lot from us in August. And what makes it even more special, like we said, is we have our dear friend of the pod, Stephanie, who is a big part of our book club, which is where Black Girl Lit podcast began. So, yay, we're so happy to have her.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Stephanie. We love Steph.
We love Steph.
Okay, and I think, normally in book club, you know, when cold out, we always try to do like a little something, try to jazz things up. So this month, we were looking at trying to be very Afrocentric, you know, with our African theme we have going on here. And I do believe that Nicole has a special surprise, but she's known for what we got.
I have a special surprise as far as when it comes to cocktails. There's a part of the book then, and it has 3 different relics in it. And the way that we're going to make our cocktails is by reading a scroll, having a sunstone, and then we're going to stir it with a bone dagger. And the scroll itself has our incantation or drink.
Oh, cute. That's cute. Y'all, they've been holding this secret all damn day.
It's been a 2-hour. They held that for 2 hours. Baby.
So it's a different way for our drinks to be made today.
The drink we are, I guess, conjuring up today is called the Whisper of Desert Heat and Mango Dusk. The drink or the spirit of today's this month's 3 episodes is rum. So everything that we're tasting today is going to have rum in it. My liquor of choice, love me some rum. The Whisper of Desert Heat and Mango Dusk has 10-to-1 rum in it with some lime juice, grilled pineapple juice, and bitters. Once we conjure it up, we'll let y'all know how it tastes. This is cute, guys.
I get the spice.
It's spicy.
It do got the spice in it. Okay.
A little bit.
It's good.
Oh, this is delicious.
Ooh. Oh, gosh.
It feels like one of them ones that would sneak up on you, but
But it's really good.
it's good. It's that sweet spice. Like, you know, I love a spicy margarita, and that's what
And not a
it's
margarita, it's just rum.
for.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay, what says effects upon the mortal palate? First sip, a cool citrus gale. 15 heartbeats later, the sunstone melts. Was it Berberine?
BB.
Beberi. Worse and worse. Okay, ember cools around the tongue. Mango rises in golden plumes. Blood warms, nostrils flare, a phantom caravan passes behind the eyes.
That's accurate.
That's absolutely what's happening.
You're feeling all that happening. And
Yes.
That is absolutely what's happening.
This is so cute.
What's the spice? What's the spice? Is that ginger?
Or
Berberine.
rub.
Let's listen to Google one more time, especially if we're about to say this all episode so long.
Barbare.
Beberi.
Barbare.
Beberi.
Think
So the rum
bear
spice.
beret.
That's what I was thinking, yep.
Bear beret. Yeah.
It's giving very much magic.
you're getting more flavor as it melts to me.
Yes.
Okay, so
With a different
what
flavor.
is our sandstone ice? Like what is
Mango.
a cube of mango,
Ginger.
Okay.
It's the ginger.
It's the ginger too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is a little spicy.
Is it spicy?
It's spicy. So you want to tell us about this beautiful author?
Yes. Let me give you guys a little info about the author. Tomi Adeyemi is an American writer and creative writing coach. She's best known for the novel Children of Blood and Bone, the first in the Legacy of Orïsha trilogy. In 2019, she was named the Forbes 30 Under 30 list, and in 2020, she was named the Time 100 Most Influential People of 2020.
You know, here at Black Girls Lit, we first start off with our overall feel of the book. So, we're not looking at the whole series right now. I'm just looking at the first book, Children of Blood and Bone. If we love it, it's cheers. If it was okay, about 3 stars, that's going to be a sip. If it was okay, it took you a little while to get through it, that's a babysit. And if you really were like, okay, I'm over it, then that's just going to be a send it back. So it's basically a 1 to 4 star scale. I will go first. I mean, it's cheers for me. Children of Blood is cheers for me.
Surprise,
Surprise, surprise. Wah, wah, wah.
Never.
Internet cheer for me, okay? I really did. When it was presented as an option to read, I was kind of not really feeling it because they started talking about fantasy and all this and that. And I was like, well, that's not really my genre. But once I read it, it was just like, ooh, African warrior is what I was seeing. And it was just like, I loved it. So cheers for me. Nicole?
Definitely a cheers, without a shadow of a doubt. The first one, the depth of the book, the way first of all, I'm not a fantasy girl. I'm very practical. I'm going to read something that's like calculus or something like that. But this one right here, I loved it. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I too will give it a cheers. First book was very well written. It had adventure. It had a little romance. It had empowerment. It had war. It had fighting, all of that. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed the first book. I am a fantasy girl. Fantasy actually is all that I read. Twilight is my favorite book. So there you go. So I was super excited when they agreed to do this series. So cheers to the first book.
For me, I'm also going to cheers.
Now that's something new.
Yes,
This
indeed.
might be the first cheers ever, for real.
So the book, it's funny because when Lex suggested it, I was like, absolutely. Funny thing is, this is my second time reading it. I don't remember the circumstances under which I read it the first time, but it was some years ago for sure. And it was like, I think probably my first read on a Kindle or something like that. Reading it a second time, I still had my initial interest and all of the things. So cheers for me.
I'm also going to go with cheers. That's the theme. The fantasy theme is I'm practical, autobiography, of course, some erotic romances, but this was like, I'm going to try. It took a couple of chapters and I was like, it got right into it.
It did.
And so for me, it was just all of that, the African culture, just everything behind it, their outfits, the hair, just to try to imagine it. It's like different than everything else that I read. Mm-hmm. And so I would give it a 4. It's a great read. I was ready to read it all. And then we'll discuss the rest later.
Yeah, heavy on that.
Heavy on that. We'll get to that.
But we loved the first book. BGL loved book 1. Is that the first time we've all
Wow.
around the table?
Author, what? Go
Look at that. Look at that. Very telling.
Good work. Good work.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as we're sipping and snacking, we're going to talk about book 1. A really big part of the book was definitely a sibling story. We had 2 sets of siblings, actually. So we had Zane and Zélie and Inan and Amari. So Inan and Amari are royals. Honestly, probably the equivalent of like a princess and a prince type thing. And then Zélie and Zane are from a tribe within the realm that the author has created, which is Orïsha. With that background, can we talk about the contrasts and comparisons between Zélie and Zane's relationship and Amari and Inan's relationship? How are they the same? Are they the same? How are they different? In which ways are they different? Let's get into it.
Well, I think the biggest difference was the Amari and Inan, they were really competitive, I think, with each other versus the other siblings were more, the brother was more protective. So it's Zane, right? Zane was more protective and kind of like a protector. Amari and Anan's relationship was not that. I mean, they, you know, they loved each other and they cared for each other, but very much on like a competitive way almost. Because I think they were, you know, they sparred against each other and kind of fought each other and trained against each other and all of that. So that was the biggest difference that stood out to me as far as the pairs of siblings.
Yeah, I think that was sounds neat too. I feel like you see that, like Amari and Inan, like that type of relationship, like you know, in royal families, where you got, hey, one has to be on top and one is gonna be the second, you know, or even like in families where you stand to inherit like a business and stuff like that, where there has to be, okay, well, who's taking over, you know, like whereas it's like ends up being like a natural competition is where I feel like you tend to see those sort of relationships, whereas, you know, like your average everyday family, I feel like it's just typical. You're going to have, you know, the big brother is going to take care of
A little sister.
the little sister. And I know, like, for me, just even reading the book, I just kept going back. You know, I do have, you know, a younger sibling and an older sibling. I'm a middle child, classic. Classic.
That makes so much sense.
It absolutely does.
As far as, like, sibling relationships, I do think that was like the first thing I noticed in the book was the sibling relationships, just because it is an interesting dynamic to me. I think about like the relationship I had with my siblings, you know, when I was younger, you know, who we are. And then like, you know, as we've grown up and grown apart a little bit, but not really apart. We're still close, but like I talk to my sister every day. You know, my brother, you know, I talk to him, you know, less, but I would still say, you know, that we're close, but definitely, you know, he's naturally going to be a protector, but we never had like any of that fighting or like, you know, competition other than, well, maybe me and my sister did. When we were younger, I did not like her. But only because we were fighting for my dad's attention. So I guess there is always going to be some
level
of competitive.
I thought I was going one way. Then I'm like, oh, that's right. I did not like her for a good like 13 or 14 years.
That's wild.
That's
13 years.
Their
Is
relationship,
History.
I feel like their relationship reflected the upbringing that they had to do. Like,
Correct.
they're a monarch. Like, you need to be prepared to fight and stuff like that. I think their bond was still a tight bond. Understanding that also, like I said, duty before self, duty before, and like understanding that the kingdom is like their prime focus. I think they had to be raised in that type of environment versus one that needs to have a oneness, which would be amongst the normals, the originals. You know, that would
That Bell.
Yeah, and
do you though? Like that, they have responsibility. Like they were growing up to have a responsibility over people.
Correct.
well, and I think
So you're gonna the parents have a different method, and that's how you have to look at it. That's not they're not family oriented. They're family oriented to a degree.
Yeah.
Where Zélie and Zane, they had that loving family upbringing where we protect each other, we nurture. And they didn't get nurtured, Amari and Inan, because there was no hugs and kisses. There was no daddy's little girl. It was no mommy, you know, she's doing my hair. It was Binta that did her stuff. It wasn't, you know, so she had more of a motherly figure through her nanny than she did her own mother.
Yeah.
So their upbringing, it was a reflection, but they still found humbleness to a degree, like, because it was one of those things they're only getting one side of the story. So everything that they've been taught was to hate racism, like you're lower class. And it was, but they have a heart, and it shined, but it would diminish sometimes in certain situations. And it was more for Inan, but Zane and Zélie, I don't want to get off track. Like they just had a loving, caring, protective, tribe. It was a tight unit where in the kingdom, you trust no one. It's just us. Where with the tribe, you have everybody that's trying to uplift each other and support each other. So yeah, it was just different, somewhat similar, because I think they all had the heart. It's just with Inan and Amari, it didn't shine as often.
No, but
They just had different motives.
But I was just like, but I felt like Amari and her family, I mean, everything else aside, like she was treated like lower class within her family. Like her mom treated her bad.
Yeah.
Even like the dad, and whereas with Zélie and Zane, like everything that the dad and Zane were doing was to protect Zélie because she was the one she was the magi, and they knew that she was more susceptible to harm and stuff, and like everything was geared around protecting her. Whereas I do not feel like Amari was, forget being protected, like not even cared for barely, you know.
But you know, in royalty, and like when you're talking about royal families and different things like that, the boys do usually get treated like
A little better.
they do get treated. You know what I mean? Like that. If you think about collectively,
You're right.
Because
Right,
the father
like,
did say,
females,
be a princess.
yes, yeah.
But I also do agree, though. I do think that Amari did, and it talked because we read these books super quick. But I feel like there was a reason Amari was treated less than. I feel like the author went into a little bit about skin complexion. I think she went a little bit into like some other things that also fed into why Amari was not getting
Favorite.
better, if you even want to call it that, because honestly I think the whole thing was a cluster if I'm gonna be completely honest.
She did have some parallels though.
And so I don't know, but I think into that point, I do think honestly both siblings relationships were a little foreign to me, only because I have two younger sisters, so I'm the oldest, and I know like what it means to like protect your younger siblings and like all of those things. But I think the huge difference that I saw with Amari and Inan is I would never intentionally hurt my sibling. Ever. If we ever even raised our hand to act like we were going to hit each other or something, my parents nipped that in the bud. So the fact that Amari sustained a major injury from Inan, even though, yes, their dad, like, told him to do it, it's like, ooh, like, that's where they lost me. Because I just could not ever picture hurting my sibling in any type of way, let alone to that degree. Whereas you have Zane and Zélie, and I know Zane would never hurt Zélie. Like you could tell that was never a thing, but there was this air of protection. But also, I think he didn't see how Zélie was coming into her like womanhood, like she's growing up. That's where they lost me a little bit, because I don't know. I think when it's all girls, maybe it's a little different, but I feel like they kind of wanted to keep Zélie in this box, even as she was getting all this power and she was becoming political and like becoming a ruler, and they still were like trying to treat her like she was made of glass. And so it's like, but it's like, where's that balance of like overprotecting versus like masking your siblings like shine and potential? And I feel like there's a little bit of that going on, which is why I'm like, I couldn't relate, but I do think that their relationship was more positive in relation to Inan and Amari, obviously.
But I want to pick up on something you said. Was anybody else waiting for them to be like, you are not the father of Amari, to find out that the king was not Amari's dad? Nobody. When I was reading, I was thinking. I thought the opposite. See, I was waiting for them to be like that, the king, because they kept talking about her complexion, and she was a little bit different, and how she was getting treated differently.
Yeah, I did think Amari Povich, like, you are not. I did get that, because I was like, why? I said, did the queen do something? Did the queen?
Like, they
No, that's not
bad. Well, in that moment, no, the way she set it up, I could see where Tasha's coming from. Yeah. I
definitely was waiting for you were not the father.
Especially with the powers coming into play and the streak for Inan. Like, it was like, I was like, all right, do they have different daddies? Because when he was changing and she wasn't, those different things was, for me, it wasn't like a strong, let me hold this in my back pocket, like, aha, it happened. It was just, well, like, I wonder.
So the next drink is the Ruby Mirage on Coastal Sands. This drink is made with rum, of course, and then you have some pineapple juice and lime, bitters, and smoked salt. I did not know you could smoke a salt, but here we are.
If you can smoke a paprika, you can smoke.
You know, you learn something every day.
Oh, this one is definitely smoky.
You know what?
Nicole trying to kill herself. What is happening?
You told me to put 7 shots. I'm the sous chef, everybody. That's why.
Okay, I was like, oh, it's smoky. It's giving like mezcal. I like it. Nicole over here about to die.
I don't think it's that bad. It's definitely strong.
That's wrong.
But again, we did say rum is our.
I just take
We love
smoke. I was
smoke.
like, oh, it's kind of smoky. It's giving like.
It's tasty to me.
Me too.
Nicole might be the lightweight of the group for real. Like,
What do you think,
it
Steph?
says
Do you
here-
like it?
Steph don't love it either based on her facial expression.
This one got wrong.
I like the first one better.
I'm drinking rum.
And not Red Bull.
No Red Bull. Hold the Red Bull, in fact.
The effects upon your mortal palate. Open it.
Okay.
Crisp sea spray lime, a faint grill smoke.
Oh, the smoke, yes.
Cube
It is
softness.
very smoky.
You're going to end up with the tamarind caramel floods, body heat flickers at the throat.
Oh,
Hold up, pineapple desert.
A breath later, heartbeat slows,
The pineapple is good.
shoulders loosen, sunset appears behind closed lids, and waves taste of rum-soaked fruit. So you swirl that pineapple, and then you'll taste it, and you got all your senses just on fire.
What's happening? What's happening at my throat? What's happening at my throat again?
That bonnet heat.
What's happening at my throat again?
it is.
Because that's the most important part
Oh my God.
of what is on this scroll. What's that flickering?
I don't know. You have
The bonnet
to scroll.
heat?
Star, you have to scroll. You read it.
Hold on, let me see.
This almost feel like it's supposed to take you to the beach. I'm not feeling beach.
Not if
Swampy water.
I'm not feeling beach if the tamarind caramel.
The beach that the edge be having like
If it is tamarind caramel,
Absolutely
I would say
not.
caramel is all.
Here's the thing.
there is none of
If the tamarind caramel floods, bonnet heat flickers at my throat, I'm definitely not at the beach.
I was more so looking at the last part where it says shoulders loosen, sunset.
Appears behind
Wait.
closed lids. No, that is not the case.
Listen here.
Sometimes-
It's not giving public beach at sunset.
Star said it's giving red light
It's
special.
It's absolutely red light special in the red light district.
So this is going with an experimental red agave.
Oh, you made red.
Red.
What is that?
Red.
That's this one. I love red. Hold on.
They're so cultured, these youngins.
Nicole.
Shout out to my Ghanaians. Red.
Yeah, this is coming through.
So the red with and plantains. I'm supposed to have avocado, but I forgot to have avocado.
Well, I didn't
You
have
don't
no
want me
red before, but it's really good.
Yeah, red is good.
It's giving peas, stewed tomatoes, onions. Is that what I'm saying?
You seen that before? Something in the South?
Mm-mm.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Succotash.
A lot of these
got
foods, we can tell that.
The butter beans. The
The
llama
wood
beans.
is fire.
You like it?
Yes. What is that? Is that harissa in there? What is that?
I like it, and it's going with my drink too.
Fix it. Fix
Yeah,
it.
palm oil is good.
I love it, and with my drink, I mean, I don't.
Steph don't like it. You hate it?
Oh, I told her don't even put it on there.
Yeah.
The way
Steph sample don't even have none on there. Like Steph said, oh no, I'm not.
She was like, "Oh, well,
I'm
we
not-
could make appearance." I said, "But I want to eat it."
I'm not trying that. Put mine on the side. That's what Steph said. Put mine on the side of keep it in the kitchen.
I'm just the picky eater.
I want mine's a little sweeter.
Oh no, it's good though.
Red is very good.
I like it with the plantain. My plantain is a little sweet, and so it just balances out with like the salty. This is good.
If I
And with my
chow-chow on
smoked drink, I'm like, Shaq, I may have the rest of the podcast without me. I'll be sitting here eating.
So the pairing is good to you? Yeah.
It's good.
I don't love plantains, but
I do.
all the flavor in what's it called, red. all the flavor in it is kind of overpowering that plantain that I don't love. But it's a whole thing happening right now together.
It reminds me of the South. I'm not gonna lie. So I see where we brought it over.
So with that, we're going to get into question number 2. It says, Zélie is a young Black woman. How do you feel about her being tasked with saving her people?
Man, if that ain't the daggone Black woman story forever, ever, and ever, and ever, and ever. What's that?
Continuous.
Right.
To infinity and beyond. Yeah.
It's the entire story for all creation. And I love how she kept on saying, I'm tired. Like, there was times like she just wanted to give up.
She
Why am I
lied.
doing this?
Correct.
I'm like,
She wanted to be
every time I try
selfish,
to
but
do
then
something to something happens. Every time I try to do this, thinking this is in the fight, there's another one. I was like, relatable.
And even like the way where somehow she doubted herself. She's like, I'm not ready. I'm not gonna be able to. But then still was like, I mean, in the mix of, and I feel like we can all relate to that. We in the midst of doing it, but being like, I can't handle this. I can't do it. But meanwhile, you steady, you building the ladder to make it happen.
and then you have the support. Because the people she was surrounded still supported her, gave her something to fight for. So she wasn't necessarily, she was on her own, but she still had support. She had a reason behind it. There was always a reason. And I think when she held on to that, that's why she was able to continue. But by the end, I could understand where she wanted to just give up, because it was like, you finally get to this point and it's like, what? There's more? But then it was just the support that you get from everybody that's surrounded by you. So she had reasons that kept her going.
I think the biggest thing for me with her was the guilt.
Oh, yes.
Like that was
She carried it
such a big thing. And I think, if we can kind of step into reality a little bit and what that experience is to be a Black woman, to be all the things to everybody, right? It's when things don't go the way that you think they should go, or when things don't go the way you expect them to go. What did I do wrong? Did I do something wrong? What didn't I share? What information didn't I give? What did I do incorrectly? What did I say wrong? Like, that was a really big thing for me with her, because I experienced that a lot. It's something that I struggle with all the time being a parent is, did I give you all the information? Like, is it my fault that you made this decision? Or is it my fault that the outcome of things, that you have to learn this lesson this way, and so on and so forth? So I think that was the most relatable for me in it. And I definitely have gotten to a place where I don't carry that guilt, but it's a conscious effort. Like, it takes conscious effort to not feel guilty about all the things that don't go the way that I think they should go. Because at the end of the day, it's not my story. It's not my journey. It's not, for me to dictate how things should go. But she carried that guilt a lot. And to the point where she wanted to give up a lot of times, like, nah, I've done enough. Like, I've made, you know what I mean? Like, not being able to see the progress, or not being able to see the positive, because to your point, to you guys' point, it's you get over one hurdle only to be faced with the next one. So because there's another hurdle, like immediately right there, you don't even really get an opportunity to experience or see the victory in the previous thing that you just, like got over. And she really, really carried that a lot. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, and kind of watching her or listening or her going through that.
And that's what I think too is, as Black women, it's always, we strong Black woman, and sometimes it is, you get tired. Like, and I think about the time when I've had friends, they're like going through loss, they have to grieve somebody, they lose somebody important in their family, and then they can't even they don't even have opportunity to grieve themselves, because you got to be there. You got to, let me make sure the kids are good. They just lost so and so, I got to be there for them. I got to take care of this. And in moments like that, so when do you get a moment just to be like, okay,
Can I
be
feel
me.
it too? Yeah.
I mean, it's like we just always have to be strong. We have to be nurturers. Then we gotta also be like out here, be strong and hard out here in the world. And just so many, and like, holding everybody up all the time. I just feel like it's a role that, I mean, we've been doing forever. Like, and I don't know if I'm proud of it. I love it. I love the identity of being a strong Black woman, but I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I just wanna lay down and cry. Like,
Baby, I be tired.
I'm not, I ain't got it to give. But then also, like I said, I do take a lot of pride in the fact of, yeah, you know what? I'm a strong Black woman, and I got it. Don't worry about it. Like, and even if I don't have it at the moment, I'm gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
Like, trust and believe. Ain't nobody gonna fall on my watch, y'all. We got it. We'll figure it out.
But I think it's also, in that vein, like, it's really important to communicate and be open and be vulnerable and tell people, listen, I don't have it today. Like, listen, I'm feeling really anxious. Like, listen, if it's not anything major, don't call me. Because when you call, like, there's this, you know what I mean? There's this anxiety that I'm going to feel. So, I think it's good that we not only talk to the people that we have relationships with, that we're nurturing and we're doing the things for, and being vulnerable and transparent with them and letting them know when mama tired too, like, I need a minute, or otherwise we may have a rage fest happening. So everybody calm down. But also having other women that you can share conversations with and stories and different things. Because I think the biggest thing for me is we realize once we start talking, we realize we're all dealing with the same things and the same situations, right? So now we're in a position where we can help each other. Like, girl, how do you cope? Because I be wanting to smash walls. You don't do that? You want, oh, okay, well, what do you do? Like, okay, you be taking deep breaths? I'll try it. You know what I mean? But it's like we don't communicate and share in those challenges, right? And share those challenging moments and things with other people, then we may never figure out or get an opportunity to learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yes. Being on all the time. It's like you have to be on, like, ready. Like, the day has begun. Yeah. Even I put my phone on do not disturb. It don't matter.
Just for you.
They know how to get through it.
Right.
Like, oh no, just call back again. It'll ring.
Right. So I think it's just, you have to be on, like, ready. Like, you don't know what's going to happen. The good, the bad, and the ugly of everything, of parenthood, relationships, whatever it may be, carrying, the whole Orïsha clan. Is, you just, sometimes it's like you have to be on, and sometimes you just want to shut it off for a little bit. And it's like, but it's never ending. It's like you can never shut it off. You could dim it a little. Like, let me just take a little break, but but you can never turn it off. And so I think, but that's the only way that I know. So it's just hard to, I reach out for help. I don't mind, because I think cultures and generations, everybody was private. All of this being openness, people are like, what is this life? It's too open, because it's like you're giving too much information. But the thing is, sometimes you could be very helpful. What might not work for me, it might work for you, but you have that information and it could save a person's life. It could, help someone, anything. And so I feel like, instead of always carrying it yourself, talk to others. I think with Zélie, she had that struggle too. Like, she didn't know who to trust. The biggest thing is, who do you trust? Mama Agba was gone, like, at the time. So it's like, where do you go for your guidance? That's all she knew. And now she has to rely on herself and what she's learned. So once again, she's carrying it on her own. So it's like, who do you talk to? She could talk to her brother, but it's like, if he knows your fears, he can't be that protective brother that she needs to get her through whatever she needs on this journey. And then Amari, she's looking at her like, you spoiled brat. She's like, I don't trust you. Yeah. And so then it's like, who do you go to? And then when Legan, the seer.
The Sataria.
Yeah. In the very beginning, where he ended up being killed, it was like, that was her. She was like, I have guidance. She lost it so quickly, every time she got it. And then it was just taken away from her. So it was like she had to keep carrying, like, I gotta be on. I gotta be on, and she had a reason. She had reasons. People gave her reasons to keep going. But that girl, she's young. Like
She was like,
she was in her teens.
20 something.
Like late teens, I think, So it was like, what? Even Amari and Inan, and that they were young.
All of them were.
So, but that's what you know. Like, that's what you know back then. Like, what era this is. So who knows? But it's just like, that's all that they had. So it was like you just grew up to farming, welding, whatever you were in, and they were in the palace. So you were just being taught to combat and become the next ruler of Orïsha, and then a princess, where Zélie and Zane had to work to pay these royals.
Right, to protect that we don't. But I think to that point though, like, I think that's why context is so important, and like how like your upbringing, and understand like how your mother, grandmother, all of those people grew up to get a better understanding. And I say that because that's something that I think I went through with my mom. And I didn't realize it was such an important thing until I went to therapy for it and like was able to talk through it. And then also going back to y'all's point of vulnerability, and like how sometimes, not even sometimes, a lot of the times, Black women, it's not a safe space to be vulnerable. And sometimes it's not even a safe space at home for you to be vulnerable. And that was one of the things with me. Like, I had never seen my mom cry until I was in college. And so growing up, that was ingrained in me. Okay, you don't cry. You don't feel, at least not in front of others. Like, you keep that down. And I'm sure like my grandma was the same way, and her mom was the same way. And I think like it also comes back to how you're raised to figure out how to cope with what it is you're going through. And I think it's important to talk about those things like you all were talking about, and like being vulnerable for those things, so that when you have kids and their kids have kids, like it's normal to see the matriarch in your family like not necessarily break down, but like be human, but then pick themselves back up and to figure it out. Like, that's an important piece, rather than just showing your kids, nephews, whatever, the put together part. Because then it's like, okay, I'm supposed to be like that.
All the time.
Yeah. And that's when it becomes ingrained, like, okay, I need to be strong because all the women around me were strong 100% of the time. When little do you know, maybe they weren't. And they probably weren't.
I got a weird thing, just on like left field. Did y'all have like a very spiritual kind of connection to this book? Because for me, I guess as I was reading it, me even seeing like her pictures of these gods that were women, I was like, why have I never pictured gods as women? Oh, I brainwashed. So I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard of them, but it's like Greek and all this kind of stuff like that. And then, as she was talking about it, I was like,
because it's been ingrained to us that men are the ones in power, and it's not the case. So because we're so much smarter than them.
Beautiful.
Shots fired.
Dang, let's go with the gods. Like, I was like, yeah, why can't I have a female god? Yeah. And it's so foreign, right? Like, we make it so blasphemy and so like anti everything. But it's just like, but why not? Why? Like, when I was, the pictures, the images that were, imagine you growing up and actually, instead of seeing yourself in books with chains and all that kind of stuff, you have these pictures of your mind of being this glorious, beautiful, I don't know, goddess, white hair, difference. Growing up in that type of world and mindset versus, here's the story of slavery again.
Yes.
And this is the story of slavery. And here's another story of slavery again.
And that's what it was. So when I said again, when they pitched it to us as this fantasy, and I was like, oh, I don't really like fantasy. But as soon as I started reading, I was like, oh no, this is about some powerful Black women out here. They is killing it. Oh, look at the young girl. I was like, so it took on again, like African princess warrior. And I was like, I was here for it.
Very woman's king.
So I was really, again, I was pulled in like from the beginning.
Girl,
would
she was
say-
texting and oh my God, girl, okay, we told you it was good.
She looked-
Pipe down.
I did, but and let me say, this is what I will say, because again, I did on everybody's ages. I mean, she wasn't the only one who was young. Like I said, everybody was
All
young.
of them, yeah.
And the thing is, I think that speaks to the expectations of the younger generation, which because they know more now than we ever. Like the more if you know better, you got to do better. Like that's why I always say, you know better, you got to do better. And I feel like the information that this generation has, and every generation has access to more and more information, they got to be doing better and doing more with that. So moves that we were making, in my generation, my mom's generation, before that, they were moving with the information that they had. Like this is what we know, this is what we do. But I feel like it is up to the young generation. You're just like, they know more. You see the world in a much larger scope than the previous generations. Before, our view of what was quote unquote your world really for some people was limited to their zip code, like for reals. But the last couple of generations, like I said, their access to the literal entire world with that information and knowing what people are going through and seeing struggles, and also seeing, like some people's like abundance in some areas and this and that. With all that information, it is on the younger generations to do better. Like, hey, you know what's going on, you know what's possible. So my expectations from you are they mad high. Like you have access, you have the information. I am expecting a lot from you, and I'm here for it. Like some of y'all people,
And they still lazy.
stop talking about the youth
Shots
like that.
fired.
Stop talking about
Shots
They are
fired.
not
They
lazy.
are not. Sometimes I will say that they're late, but I'm like, you know what? Just if they figured out how to work smarter, not harder, like we can't be hating on them.
Well, that's the thing. Do that part. Do that part. It works smarter, not harder, but work.
Yeah.
Work.
Nah, they were having their lazy moments. It's so funny because me and my mom were talking earlier about, the youth or what have you. And it's like, yeah, but at one point we were the youth. We were the ones at some point that the older generation talked about and thought wasn't about nothing. It all.
But not for that.
That's
I
all
would say
relative.
our generation, we have the hardest struggle. Because we are that link between the non telecommunicating group and the full, like we were learning literally. Yeah, the technology people, like our generation, we on that struggle bus trying to monitor our kids' technology, but we trying to learn it too.
I'm not.
Learn it faster than them.
I'm not monitoring nothing.
But not it yet.
Go with God. Go with God.
I go with them.
I don't. I don't want to care. I don't have the time. I'm not monitoring nothing.
But let me say, us being the link generation, us right, it's a thing. And I do understand our inclination to call the young, they lazy. We're not gonna get them too much.
Well, it's
What
not
generation are we
necessarily
talking
lazy.
about?
It's just like now that you have.
I said, what generation are we talking
Well,
about?
it's not necessarily fully lazy. It's just you have everything at your disposal, and I think sometimes it's overwhelming to them that they just don't even know what option to take.
But to that point, and why it's so important that we show them, right, and they see the struggles and the adversity, right? Because if they see that, then to Lex's point, it becomes a thing that they know this is normal. This is not abnormal. I don't have to feel like I don't have to go into crash out mode because something is challenging. Like it's a part of life. Like the challenges are a part of life. And I think that's important to the point is to make sure that we're not always in superhero mode. Yeah, 90% of the time I'm her and I'm here to save the world. But 10% of the time I need everybody to sit down and be quiet and chill out. So we don't have to have no problems. But they need to see that as well.
Well, ladies,
Segwaying.
we gonna get on to this last one.
It's a mocktail.
Oh, she's giving us a break.
Yeah, we got to take a break.
Because sometimes you gotta take care of your liver.
Sitting-
Your liver take care of you. You gotta take care of your liver. I'm gonna pour a light on this one because I don't need that It feels like negativity in my life.
I'm gonna pour light on the mocktail because I don't need a lot of
this
alcoholics.
y'all see this podcast is full of crackheads.
I'm watching my sugar. It feels like juice to me.
It's Tasha. She's the problem.
No, but this is
I
juice.
need y'all to pour some more to make it balance. I can't. I have
Pass it.
I have to force people to pour.
Gotta do the whole can.
It's all natural juice. I promise it's organic. It ain't got all
You
this
juiced
stuff from
this
craziness.
yourself?
I didn't, but I read the label.
Okay.
All I heard was juice. I'm watching my sugar, so I'm gonna be like,
The funny thing is that y'all trying not to pour the mocktail.
Y'all, I'm pouring it up.
Thing went back around. The bottle that has the substance
oh,
used to go one time around the table. Now it came back to me, and I can.
Dead serious. Tasha,
I think it's probably the first two drinks we're just feeling it and we're just not.
We don't
You
want to
get
have a
warmed up.
mocktail to clear it out.
No.
I'm drinking them all.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
Some more juice, you know?
Oh, we want more juice?
I do because I'm not a heathen.
That's what I'm talking about.
somebody
read the scroll for us. Can we?
You already had a beverage before you
Anthony,
started.
because I'm not a heathen.
Okay.
All right. So, for all of our heathen readers out there, or rather for those who do not want to be heathen,
There's heathens that don't be drinking.
yes, because our podcast is inclusive, ladies, right? Okay. So, our last cocktail for book one is called the Herbal Hush. If you didn't hear me, I said Hirsch. So the Herbal Hush beneath the orchard boughs. We have some lemongrass mint tea, as well as guava nectar, some honey ginger syrup, lime, and salt.
It definitely tastes like juice.
I do love guava.
Me too.
Okay, this is good. I'm not gonna lie.
It's refreshing. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that's
Wait, so next upon the mortal palate, beginning a cool meadow, lemongrass, and mint exhale across the lips. As ice dissolves, sweet jungle guava drifts in. A shy, chilly warmth pulses at the back palate. Chest opens, breasts lengthen, mind settles like dew on morning leaves.
So cute.
Okay.
Okay, first of all,
Well, that was a lot of words. What?
That's good.
The cake.
Say it one more time.
Oh, you should have.
okay. In the beginning, you have a cool meadow.
Not in the beginning like Genesis.
Wait, I'm so sorry.
We're children of
Like Genesis?
Steph is over here acting up. Please understand.
Well, I'm stuck on the way Nicole has 13 different ways to stay at the back of your throat. Like,
I mean,
all of a sudden, we coming in with shy warmth pulses at the back palate.
Ooh, not the pulses in the back
So
palate.
we still talking about the back of my.
so we're gonna try the
Shrimp, so African red pepper sauce shrimp.
red pepper.
Now, what is this? Is this
And that is
yam?
Sayoti. It's a yuca, but they say
Oh, yuca.
cassava.
Yes.
Cassava.
So usually these are
Cassava fries.
These are good.
they usually fry these like French fries. This is like a potato. So yeah, it's okay. It's a starch though. We need it for all the liquor. But don't,
I
yeah.
got it tied. Do you remember McDonald's fries back when they got cold?
This ain't it for me.
But the shrimp is good.
I don't love this pairing.
So Tomi's note at the end of the book, it discusses how she was feeling at the time. The note at the end talks about what she was feeling at the time and why she wrote book one during the time that she did. Did you immediately have the same real world parallels she discussed when reading the book? But also, why did you think she portrayed this very real topic through the lens of a fantasy novel? So that was a multi-layered question. So we'll start with the first one. Just what real world parallels did you all see?
The colorism is what I picked up on.
More
for sure.
colorism because everybody was pretty much the same skin tone. It was just if you were darker, lighter, kind of copper, the eyes. And if you were magi, where you had the white hair, So it was just like, it was more colorism because your skin tone, it was just lighter versus darker versus copper and what tribe you came from.
Yeah, I definitely immediately picked up the second time that I read it, the colorism. And like I was stating earlier, that's the thing that made me stop and say, am I reading into this or was this her intent? And that's what led me to stop and go
To the author.
to the author's note and see, because I think there was a point where they were talking about the different complexions and the hair and the eye color, and it immediately took me to slavery and the darker slaves that were outside versus the lighter slaves that were inside, and the more fair skin with the blue eyes and the lighter hair were usually the ones that were born because the master was sleeping with, so on and so forth. So it immediately took me there when I read it the second time with the real world
Parallel.
I think it took me straight to slavery too. Colorism for sure, but I think when I was reading it, because I also read it twice, like Star was saying, several years ago, but racism for sure. Low-key indentured servitude too, like especially in the part in the first book, to not to give too much away. But when they got to the place with the arena and they were battling with the boats, but like it was also for like the enjoyment of like the rich.
Was that not reality TV too?
So yeah, I was like, well, yes, reality, but also, yeah, like,
Gave you Gladiator.
yeah, like slavery, indentured servitude, gladiator, if you will. Like, it was just brutal. It was brutal.
Because I think, like, in the author's note, she talks about, at the time, like, I think she mentioned, like, Tamir Rice. And so, to me, it wasn't even just, like, color. It was, like, straight up, like, racism and what it means to be Black in America. You have people, hey, at the end of the day, yeah, we're all people. But for whatever reason, there is a difference in you that we can visually see off the bat. So, hey, you got white hair, I know you're Magi.
Yeah.
Okay, you got dark skin, I know you're Black. And because we are quote unquote in power, we're going to treat you like less than. Because like you talked about, like with like the sort of like gladiator style battles, it wasn't like a battle, let's see who win. It was like a battle to the death. We're in an arena watching people kill themselves
For entertainment.
And we're laughing about, who's going to kill somebody? Like, these are people.
Correct.
And I feel like you get to a point in life where, and let's say even like through slavery and stuff, where you're able to, in your mind, look at somebody and because, you have dark skin or you got white hair, or whatever it is that we're pointing out at that moment, this makes you less than human to me. Because again, I would never treat another human like that, but because you have white hair or you have dark skin, whatever it is, at that, at the chosen moment, or whatever, it is we're choosing, you're less than human. So then in that way, I can justify my very inhumane behavior. You know what I mean? And so that to me automatically, it took it to like, and I feel as though she did use like this fantasy world and also, and using all Black people, but different shades of Black people or, different statuses of Black people. I think it was very smart of her in order to do it that way because it takes it out of the same old slavery story, like you're saying that, we've read before, like, people were slaves, they were in chains. This makes it different, but still getting across the same point of how people are able to treat other people in a very inhumane and non-people like way because everyone else around is doing it. And I'm going to do it because if I don't go after you, then next thing you know, then they might be going after me. So let me make sure that I'm joining in with them. Let me get on this side because on this side, they all right over here. They got food. They're not paying crazy taxes. This is the good side. They're in the bleachers at the gladiator battle. But if I go on that side, if I sympathize with you, show any loyalty towards you or whatever,
I'm in the arena.
now here I am in the arena.
I'm the entertainment, right? So I think to your point, like the other piece that it really touched on was the classism. So we talk about, you know what I'm saying? Like we talk about racism and we talk about slavery, and that was the others, right? That's the thing that we had to deal with by the hands of others. But the classism existed, and that was
facts.
That's what we do to each other, right? Them referring to the magi as maggots. That wasn't coming from another race. You know what I mean? Like that was coming from your own people, right? In the sense of, you know,
Africa.
race,
Yeah.
if you will. But that was a lot. Like the reference and referring to them as maggots, and that was a lot. That was really heavy for me. It was kind of hard for me to push past that part. But again, just the classism that was there, like it was represented in the book a lot too. And that's something that we do to each other. That's not.
Oh, for sure. Because let me see, I mean, let's give it a buck. I mean, in America, you know, I think we often do talk about racism, but really, you know, we talk about, oh, well, you know, black versus white, you know, or like black and brown versus white. But truthfully, it really comes down to green versus non-green. Like, you got the money or not money. Because when we show up in court, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, at the end of the day, a lot of cases, you know, you look at it, could you afford a good lawyer or not?
The haves and the have-nots.
The haves and the have-nots. So really, classism is a bigger issue, I think, for me, but just so happy because the way our American society has set up thus far, a lot of people that look like us tend to be more on the have-not side. But at the end of the day, it really does come down to the only color that really matters
is green. Fact.
And sad but true fact. But we don't have that conversation enough because they got us stuck on the skin color.
The racism. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of racism too, I think just as we were talking, another thing that kind of popped up in my head, and probably because this is one of my favorite parts of tidbits of Black history, this also kind of drew parallels to me with Nat Turner. So if y'all are not familiar with Nat Turner, he ran the slave revolts during the time, and like, yeah, it was a whole thing. Like they were on and popping.
He was not.
But it reminded me a little bit, not necessarily of Nat Turner himself, but just the practice that some of the slave drivers and like masses had over the slaves, and just this idea of like keeping them dumb and like not understanding that there's power in numbers and like all of these things. And I think they talked about that a lot in the book too. Like there was a lot of magi, and once their powers were awakened, if they were just able to come together, they probably could have overran things quicker than things happened in the book. And so I think it drew parallels to that for me too. Just like, oh, okay, yeah, like this practice of like keeping them dumb and like not letting them know their power and all of these things. We're going to keep oppressing so that they don't rise up. And so I think that also came to mind too. And I don't know if that was intentional. I didn't read the author's note to be honest with y'all, so I don't know. But I thought of that as well, like, because that was a practice.
No, it was
that they used
with the like you said, like with that, as far as like keeping them dumb. It also reminded me of Native Americans, how when they first colonizers came in and when they separated, like when they sent it to like the English schools and they weren't allowed to speak their language, they talked about how the different magi, like, you know, because they're all different tribes, but then they made them stop speaking their language
so
they can communicate. And then like
all of it is practices, to keep them docile. Because I think the ruling families knew if they got a clue, it was going to be over.
My cousin,
it was going to be over.
If we could just start coordinating, we finna get real messy in here. And so, you know what? Y'all can't speak your own language. You can't speak nothing except for what we tell you to speak. And that is part of the whole process, like I said, keeping them dumb and minimizing that sort of like revolt mindset and communicating and building together. Hey, y'all, we finna get together over here on this farmland. And on the second Sunday, when the moon rises,
on the third moon,
I mean, but
it's on and popping.
Like you talking about, like, not true. If you read some of like the slave revolt stories, like, and this thing, so we were oftentimes, like, you know, we're taught, we see like pictures of slaves sitting on porches and they were like, oh, they around there shaving down some bamboo. They talking, eating sugar cane and making the best of life. But when you actually read, I read, some the slave journals and
Mm-hmm.
when I tell you, my people, they was not here.
They were not
just chilling. They was like, okay, hey, what we is gonna do is figure out a way to get up out of here.
So at the beginning, who y'all recommending this book to?
I'm recommending it to everybody. I think everyone should read it. It's a good book. It's a good book. And like I said, I happened upon it accidentally years ago. Had never heard of the author or anything, but it's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
Very well written. Very
Quick and engaging.
Mhm.
Very engaging.
It's from the first page.
Yeah.
I was got to read a whole long time and
Zélie.
the descriptions and the gardens and the things
I got to get a little spunky spirit.
I was like, you need a woman. Like, girl.
She need a whooping.
I'm screaming. It was so many times.
It was so, I was just like, girl.
Your blind spot for real.
She was just a natural rebel, though. Even
But she was hot head.
no, she.
Rebel.
I don't think she was a hothead.
I don't think she was a hothead.
I don't think she was a hothead at all. I think you have
I think she was
just have some people just have a warrior spirit, and that's just what it was. From that very first, training session when they were in there and she had to compete at the graduation, she was like, nah, I'm finna get her. It's not your turn. Hold on. She nah, I'm finna get her.
Back to the Nightingale discussion. Sometimes some of them girls, they gonna be rah-rah. Hey, I got the natural rah-rah skill, and you cannot.
Zélie was definitely raw.
Well, she had to rah-rah all the way to the new moon. And
she got tired of rah-rah. Yeah, she was definitely
not to take a natural rah like that. And they here for the fight. It's not contained that in them. It's natural.
So the next book that we're going to do is The Children of Virtue and Vengeance, and it's book 2 in the 3-book series. So we're going to get into it. Before we leave, we're going to hold off on the lit challenge. I think we're going to do that at the end of the 3rd book. But I do have a tot for thought. And it's something that I saw scrolling on Instagram this week, and it just really stood out to me for a number of reasons. But it says, tell people what you need. You'll either get it or realize they can't give it to you. Both are gifts.
That's actually very relevant.
Yeah. I love that. So with that, we're going to wrap this one. Book 1. We'll get right back with you for book 2. Talk about it.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks
for having me. Bye.
And we're out. Cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Black Girls Lit podcast. Tune in for our next pour and our next page, The Children of Virtue and Vengeance by Tomi Adeyemi. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and follow.